Hello and welcome back to Stay Stitching. I'm glad that you're here. I have some really cool books that I've come across lately that are perfect for junk journaling. And so I thought I would share some of them with you. And then the last one is so cool that I'm thinking of scanning it and maybe putting it in my Etsy shop, which I've never done before. I've never sold a digital product before. But before you get all freaked out and, say you can't scan books and whatever, just wait until we get to that book. And then maybe you can leave comments below telling me whether it is something that I could scan. Because I would never want to do anything dishonest or break copyright law if I could avoid it. This first one I got at a thrift store called New Horizons, and it's flowers of the mountain and plain. And it's just a beautiful book. I'm just going to use the pages. It's got all these plates in it. And there's like 40 of them in here or something, or maybe more than 40. It's been a few days since I've looked at this. There's a bunch of them. Yeah, 43. And they're just beautiful. And the book itself is beautiful. I feel like it's been carried around and shoved in backpacks and referenced. It was clearly a library book, and I just love it. So I wanted to share that one. And then these two, well, let's talk about these two in a minute. This one I got at an auction, and I had to wait a long time till they got around to the books, and I wound up paying $9 for this book, and it's this is 1916 and 1917, and what this whole book is full of, it is the club scrapbook for a music club here in my city that has been going on forever and ever and ever. And it's just beautiful. It's full of all this handwriting, and it has the lists of all the club members' names, all of these list after list, and whether they have like their attendance, and it has paper like information, the history of the music club. It was organized October 4th, 1894 as the Monday Musical Club. And it, at that time, was the second oldest club in Pueblo and the oldest music club in Colorado. And so there's newspapers in here. Anyway, just, if you're a junk journaler, you might consider going to auctions. And I feel like this was worth the wait. So far, I have not pulled anything out of here to put in a journal. I'm still kind of a beginner junk journaler, and even though I know these would make incredibly beautiful additions to my journals, and I will try to come up with the nerve to tear it up, I just can't quite tear it up yet. And my husband kind of frowns at me a little bit because he's a fountain pen geek, and so looking at all this fountain pen stuff in here, he doesn't really want me to tear it up. But anyway, there's that. These next books I got on Goodwill at an auction, and I wound up paying $17.17 for this auction. And what I was really after were these two ledgers. The pictures on Goodwill are terrible. The people who are taking the pictures and listing the products have no interest in making it easy for you to see what you're getting, or to really, you kind of almost have to be an expert in the area that you're shopping so that you know whether the thing is valuable or what you're looking for. And so I took a chance, even though the pictures were bad, that these two ledgers were something that I would be interested in. And when I got them, I was very excited. This is leather. And these are not 100 years old, I don't think. Oh, never mind. They are March 18th, 1907. So more than 100 years old. What would that be? 111 years old? And they're just beautiful. They're a plumber or somebody's ledger book. And so it's got the day and then like 1 gallon of gas, 22 cents, an elbow, screw, 1 quart measure, 1 gallon of gas, 5 cents worth of gas. Mr. A. Schofield, he was $1.50. He bought a secondhand sink for $1.75. 5 gallons of gas was 95 cents. And so it's got his list of customers. And I got 2 of them from this same plumber. This one is 1906, so this is the older one. And beautiful handwriting. Absolutely beautiful. And it's just chock full. Every single page has writing on it. And so, you know, if you want to shop Goodwill and you're looking, you can see, you can tell if a book is old. And sometimes you come up with something really great and sometimes you don't. In fact, if I have time on this video, I'll show you a couple of my fails. These 2 were definitely a win. I probably would happily pay $17 just for these 2 books, just to have them and look at them. If I get up the nerve to take them apart for junk journals, they will be beautiful additions. But this is the book here that I didn't even know this was coming in this auction. And when I opened it, I could see, obviously, that it's beautiful and that it's old. But I didn't remember it being listed in the auction or what it was called. And I don't believe that the auction showed the cover of this book, or maybe even showed this book at all, because I would have noticed this, right? I mean, who would not notice this gorgeous cover? But let me show you what's inside it. This, my friends, is a junk journal. That's what I'm calling it. It's a scrapbook from 1899. And I just was flabbergasted when I opened it up and just saw the stuff in here. It's from 1899 and 1900 are the years that are in here. And so I thought this might be okay to scan and put up for sale so that other people could have access to it. I feel like it's kind of going to get messed up here. It's very delicate and brittle. I mean, obviously, it's well over 100 years old. The paper is very dry. I'm not even sure it's all that usable in its present form in a journal, because this is not going to handle any amount of handling. It'll just fall completely apart. So scanning it might be the best thing. And look at these beautiful images. If I just scanned this page in, look at all these little images and these little dolls and everything. Wouldn't that be cool to have? Winter 1899, 1899. And newspaper clippings. Here's someone called Miss Helen Gould from 1899. Apparently, she was the noblest example of the generous people of wealth whom he has ever known, the Reverend L.G. Broughton. Bruton, I don't know how to pronounce that. This beautiful, I bought a card that had this on it one time at an antique store. This is glued down. It says, from Miss DeAnge.